Hey, we're back to looking at VOO. So VOO, that's the top 500 stocks in the market right now. Last time we looked at this was on April 6th, so about 3 weeks ago. At that point, it was trading at 375. So if we look at here, uh, and again, this is the 1 month tracker for this uh, ETF. So about 375 was right around here. Uh, we had a buy point marked at 349 and a resistance point at 407. We also noted that it seemed to be consolidating between 350 and 375. So uh, I would have thought this one would have pulled back a little bit. It looks like during that time it started to uh, going down as low as like 371, but then here we are. It bounced right back to 382 by the end of the most recent week. So we'll see how that plays out. And also, as I go through this, if you have any questions or if you uh, feel like I missed something in terms of news type events, by all means share that in the comments. I'd be happy to read that or answer any questions. Something new that we're adding here is I always like to look at the holdings for these ETFs just to see the top 10 positions in it and just to become more familiar of the types of stocks that they're picking because that might correlate to I want to pick up that individual stock. So what we're doing now is we added a tab to our spreadsheet here for the concentrations. So we can see here's the top 10 holdings for VOO. And the plan is just to see if next time we circle back on this one, say maybe mid-May, how do these percentages change, if at all? And of course, the thinking here is if one of these stocks all of a sudden uh, either drops off the top 10 holding and a new one comes in, or if, say, NVIDIA, who's currently at about 2% of the ETF, if all of a sudden it jumps up to like 5%, uh, will that'll trigger us to look into it. And alternatively, if all of a sudden, say, Apple at 7, if that pulled back to say like 2%, it would let us know. Let's actually look into that one to see, is it a stock price thing? Did it just drop or uh, accelerate recently? Or is there some news type event that uh, made whoever's the institution managers behind the scenes, did they see something that made them want to allocate more funds into that stock? And if that's the case, then we can dig into it and see, oh yeah, that is a big time news event. We want to kind of follow suit with that. But again, we'll see how this all plays out. It's new, so I'm not sure how this will change, but uh, if we see good things from it, we'll continue to do it. If not, it'll probably go away. But for now, it's new, so we'll see how it plays out. Again, for this one, no news that I really came across. So if there was something that you saw interesting that could be valuable, please share that down below. But with no news, we'll just jump into the technical analysis portion. So again, I mentioned at the very beginning that last time when we looked at this, it was at 375. So that's this point right here, this little candle. And I would have projected, and that's what this yellow line is, that it was going to pull back down. It seemed like it was just bouncing between about 350 to 375, at least since I would say November. It started doing that, November 22, and it just was bouncing. So I would have thought it's going to just continue that pattern. Um, that's not what happened. It seems to have broken out of that. Um, I think it's still too early to tell if it'll pull back, and I say that because, I mean, here's a here's an instance where yeah, it broke out, but then 2 weeks later it pulled right back in the range, and then a few more weeks later, all of a sudden it was hitting these lows down here, close to like 325. So we could see an instance of that where it's just sticking its head out there, and then next week or two, all of a sudden it pulls back into that range that we're more familiar with. So for now, I'm okay keeping my buy point at 349. Um, Resistance, we're still far away from that. If we zoom out, I feel like that's pretty safe. Um, yeah, I guess in the short term, I'm wondering what'll happen. I'm just going to draw in a brief line here. There's not much like resistance up here. But I'm going to draw in not a true fair value line, but not. We'll make it a red one just to see if it acts as some sort of resistance, right around like 387. We'll see how that plays out. Just curious. But overall, let me just update this to get a better sense. So we're now at 382. At a buy point of 349. I'm not seeing anything really that would change my opinion on this. I think if it continues to go up in this type of fashion, I have to imagine it's going to do something like this, where it might hit its head at like 387, somewhere in that range, and pull back. Maybe not to this extent, but again, we'll continue. I think the overall point I'm trying to make here is, I'm not going to be adding this one. It is very close to the fair value point, but we want to try to get it below that fair value point and preferably closer to the buy point at about 350. So it being where it is, I just feel like there's going to be better deals out there, so I'm willing to wait on this one. Resistance, we'll keep that at 407. I feel like that's still a good point for us. I can update the date to today. And then the note that I had was that it was consolidating between that 350 and 375. I think for now I'm going to keep it. If we circle back to this one and it just has not come back to that range, then we'll update it. But for now, we'll keep it. And I guess I'll add in BO alert. And so I guess I don't need to abbreviate it, but BO is just going to be breakout alert. I don't think that'll really happen, because if we scroll back, there's not really like a surge in anything. We did have this one pop back here in March of 22. Still too early to tell, but for now that's how I'm seeing it. So if you have different opinions, by all means let me know. I'd be happy to see a different point of view. But just to quickly summarize, we have VOO right here. Currently it's at 382. I had a buy point at 349, stayed the same. Resistance at 407, that's staying the same. Updated the date. And then the note we're keeping for now, the consolidating between 350 and 375 with the breakout alert. So we'll continue to watch this. Overall, I think there's going to be other opportunities out there, so I'm not looking to add this one at this point. But if you have a different opinion on that, I'd love to hear it. Other than that, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.